Players shuffling so quietly, no small talk whatsoever. These people mean business. Breck says Turbo Muxus was such a cool deck. You know what's been on my mind like the past 48 hours? Like floating in my mind somewhere, though?
Oh, that's where you look at.
Is like we have people in our community very upset about the bans or lack of bans or whatever. Coming up in about a week, a little bit over a week, July 13th here in New York City is the first ever 90s MTG Legacy Open. You know, it's an event on the calendar, a legacy event. I'm looking forward to it. A lot of our local players are looking forward to it. I'm sure people traveling in are looking forward to it. Just a funny situation, though. It's like we got an event on the calendar trying to sell tickets. And it's like the whole thing is falling apart. It's a very confusing situation. Here's Thoughtseize.
Barrow Bush with the 3 mana. It's a 1-2.
Yeah,
Look at yourself.
Barrow
Monka TG was dancing to the Force of Phil track. Starts all our streams.
Master turn 1.
Keith Master Flex has arrived. Kiviak has arrived.
It's going to go up to 2 power. I'm going to get
All right, Thoughtseize resolving. Nomads and Core, Prismatic Ending, Teferi, Force, and a Misty Rainforest.
basic swamp.
Well, I don't know.
We could see Virgil take the combo piece, which is the Nomads. We could... Okay. Well, before I could finish reviewing all the options, Teferi is chosen. A fine choice. Next time, wait till I'm done explaining Virgil.
Oh, okay.
Meticulous Archives, Surveil.
I don't think I want to ponder. Alright. Untap. Draw a turn.
Dropping that Misty Rainforest on the battlefield. Now the Prismatic Ending to go after the Nethergoyf. Makes a lot of sense. Nethergoyf gone. Can't escape it anymore. It's exiled. Brainstorm for Virgil. Can tripping. I was beginning to talk about before how people are feeling about the bans and everything. And it's like my mind goes to like why am I here? What am I here to do? Why am I making these videos? Why am I going to legacy events? What is the point of it all? I guess I see my purpose, if I'm giving myself a purpose, as just like to introduce people to legacy or entertain people that are already jamming. And invite more people, community growth, community build.
I don't know, 3 cards. 1.
I guess other people just have other agendas. You know, they're trying to like, you know, they've decided their purpose in life is fixing the format. I mean, they have like no power to do it, but they're going to speak up and say, this card needs to be banned, this card needs to be unbanned. That's their purpose. Maybe that's just not my purpose. I just don't care about that. And then I think about, as I've mentioned before, does Chris talking about what cards absolutely need to be banned because they're toxic and ruining everything help me get more people to play Legacy? Not really. So I'm just not going to talk about that. And many of you watching are not at the NYC locals. I see new faces all the time. People telling me, oh, yeah, this is my first deck. This is my first Legacy event. Just got into it. I was playing CEDH. I was playing Modern. I was playing whatever. Yeah, they have their journey. They ended up at a legacy event one way or another. Not because of me, but because they became curious about legacy through whatever way that they did. And then I'm just there, right? Our community locally continues to grow. I feel like I'm trying to help that continue or accelerate it.
Familiar with this card?
Yep. So I can only play spells.
Yes.
I don't really have much of a point here. I'm just like sharing my thoughts.
If there were multiple players, you'd be able to cast spells during their turn.
But I guess sometimes I have a habit of like reading people screaming about the legacy format being terrible, and I'm thinking like, okay, we get it. Like, you can shut up. Just be quiet. You're not helping. Kind of being silly here, but I think you understand what I'm getting at.
Yep.
Like, you're just not helping. And I was saying we got an event on the calendar this month. You know, running an event has costs, and right. Like, I don't need to explain this, right? The event's happening in Manhattan, for crying out loud. Trying to sell tickets. Would love to sell the thing out. And just like the legacy community on Twitter and Reddit and screaming about how the format sucks and they quit and they're going to go play freaking middle school or whatever.
No creature. Oh, yeah, it's actually.
It's a little bit demoralizing.
The combat? Yep.
No Man's in Core, Force of Will, Cephalid Illusionist, and Nadu. And I know how you... I get it. People are going to jump in here. It's Wizards' fault. They ruined... Okay, but you could shut up.
Wait.
You could help. Or you can shut up.
Your turn.
From tap. Draw for turn. Misty Rainforest. I'll attack for 3.
Nadu discarded. Card still powerful in 2025. Don't sell it short. And Captain telling me to not sell my influence short. The funny, relaxed, included vibe of the 90s MTG stream is one of the reasons I got excited about Legacy. I hope so. That's good to hear.
You have 3 cards.
3 cards in hand.
What's the combat?
Yep. Down to 5. Turning roll to 29.
You know, 5.
4 cards left in Virgil's hand here.
All the waves. No new things. I'll fetch. 28.
Ponder for Virgil. And locally, yeah, I know this doesn't serve everyone watching this right now. People are watching from around the world. We had a hello from Sweden in the chat. I don't think this applies to them, but here in New York City, we're trying collectively as a community, a Magic community, trying to get a New York City competitive circuit up and running and have Legacy be a big part of it. I guess I've aligned myself or put myself on board with that cause and trying to help how I can. And the way I help really is by making these videos, doing these live streams. That's what I'm here for. So maybe in kind of closing of sharing my thoughts on how this week has been, I guess I just took the bait a little bit and started talking about bans and all that stuff, but I guess it's just not something I really care about. I don't care what the MTGO meta looks like. I just don't care. Like, I don't have any really strong feelings about it. Doing something else.
I'm going to beneficial.
So a Narcomoeba has hit the battlefield. This card is not very interesting when it's just a 2-mana 1/1 flyer, but it's part of the combo in the Breakfast deck. For anyone new around here who doesn't understand how the Breakfast deck works, basically they mill their library using Cephalid Illusionist and No Man's in Core or Shuko. We'll explain those cards more if they pop up. But Narcomoebas enter the battlefield. Dread Return gets flashed back, and Thassa's Oracle comes in. That's the combo. The combo win. And these decks also have Nadu, which also combos with the Nomads and Core or the Shuko. Here's another Goyf again, a different copy.
How big is it?
Instant sorcery land creature.
4/5. Oh, 4/5.
Breck says, wasn't there a fairly big vintage tournament in your neighborhood recently? Not in my neighborhood, no. Not here in the city.
Great. Very relevant.
Not that I know of.
You have one card, right?
One card in hand.
All right, there's Cephalid Illusionist, one of the combo pieces. Virgil reminding himself what it does. Always good to check. The Cephalid Illusionist does have a second ability that sometimes people forget about. But it's a combo piece in this deck. Target it over and over again, mill your whole library. There's the other combo piece, Nomads and Core. Fatal Push on the Illusionist in response. That's going to trigger. Force pitching Force. Virgil understands the Cephalid Illusionist needs to be removed. Now a Brainstorm. A little bit of a stack here. Fatal Push on the Illusionist in response to Nomads and Core. All right. Virgil's found something. Force pitching Kaito, and the Illusionist is removed. Nomads and Core will stick around, though. It resolves.
Just all 4/5. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
That was pretty important to get that Cephalid off the battlefield.
Take 4.
That game, I feel good.
The dog says people also forgot there are many different formats, many ways to play the game. That is true. All right, Orcish Bowmaster. Nomads and Core could use its ability here to save itself, so just going to kill the Narcomoeba. It was going to die anyway. Orc Army comes in.
Outland Liberator, Collector Who, none of the creatures that actually
Attacks. Yep.
Bowmaster pretty good against the breakfast decks. Some of their combo pieces are X1 creatures. Virgil delivering some damage here. Yosef's life total getting a little bit low. You know, and with Legacy and other formats as well. This is not unique to Legacy, but people kind of make the format they play the most a big part of their identity as a player, and you know, their collection will be kind of warped, to use a Magic player term, around that format, and that's all fine. People don't want to switch formats. That's fine. All right, game one goes to Virgil.
Not to make a mistake of these future cards sitting on my mat at the start of the game again. Yeah. Play it.
The Nimir decks have pretty good tools here. Yeah, anyway. Ghost Vacuum on turn one. Maybe unsure if Virgil is doing combo stuff. I mean, well, Graph Digger's Cage is pretty good. Probably not. The Nethergoyf makes it pretty clear this is tempo, but the Ghost Vacuum can shrink the Nethergoyfs and make Murktides a little slower and stuff like that. Azak says, my identity is made around Vintage Cube with friends. That sounds awesome.
Go.
All right, Cube folks out there and Commander folks out there, even Legacy folks out there, what are the coolest cards that you're using in your games, like Vintage a Vintage Cube or Commander or whatever that are not on Magic Online? What are the coolest cards you're playing with that are not on Magic Online? Does anybody have any thoughts on this matter? They can be from unsets. They could be from Mystery Booster, those like playtest cards. They can be Marvel, Secret Lairs, whatever. What's Backup Plan? I don't know that one. Chaos Orb. There you go. Is Chaos Orb on Oh, no, I guess it can't be on MTGO. What am I talking about? Yeah, it's not on MTGO. AKA says, I just played Alec, a regular on the channel on MTGO. It was as close to being in the same in the stream as I'm getting from... Yeah, there you go. Yeah, occasionally you'll see some of our channel regulars on MTGO.
1 mana floating.
I'm going to.
And if you find them, it's like finding Where's Waldo or something.
There's just doesn't do much when there's a Void Walker in play anyway.
1 mana floating.
Booster Tutor is a good one. Booster Tutor is a good one.
I did have another turn too. You didn't do things.
Yeah. I figured. I'll take the...
All right, Meticulous Archive. Yosef is going to surveil. By the way, related to that, like, are you folks seeing the cards previewed and art and whatever previewed so far from Edge of Eternities? This set looks awesome. Like, is anyone else pumped besides me? This set looks so damn cool.
It's gone. Your turn.
Screw Final Fantasy. Universes Within. Let's go. Edge of Eternities looks really cool.
I'll pass the spell.
It's just like one of the most aesthetically pleasing Magic sets I've seen in a long time, I feel like. At least to my taste. I understand some people have other taste.
Sure. I'm stealing a dice, I'm sorry.
Go. Not yourself. Your turn.
Turn.
Grafdigger's Cage is pretty useful here. Backup Plan, Conspiracy, draw an additional hand of 7 cards. Oh, that card. Yeah, I can see the art in my head. Yeah, I remember that card. That's a good one. Good choice, Beckio.
Thanks.
So Tamio and Nethergoyf are in. Are the Will of the Council cards on MTGO? I don't know what that is. What is that? I don't know what that is. Or I forgot.
Voice is gone.
Prismatic Ending hits Tamio. That'll resolve. No Brainstorm in response to save it. Urza Saga has ticked up to 2. Sometimes the constructs are good enough.
Dagger's gone. Your turn.
Nethergoyf looking a little sad with an empty graveyard. This game is not going too badly for Yosef. That Ghost Vacuum has been pretty important here.
Alright. It's very good. Sure. I'm going to minus this ferry, targeting nothing.
Another Nethergoyf. Not very good at the moment. Oh, the voting cards or Will of the Council. That's right. I remember it now. It was in italics. I was like, that sounds familiar, but what is that? All right, there's a construct for Yosef.
The thing I've liked Lotus Petal most is as an extra mana source against the Wasteland decks.
Fair enough. Yeah, you were able to cast it there.
Split Decision is one that's not on MTGO. Interesting, because that card was like a little bit legacy relevant, right? Split Decision? Am I thinking of the right one?
Sorcery from Thoughtseize.
So it's 5, 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Thoughtseize.
Yeah. So
If they have
6, 7. 6 cards that, right?
Yep.
That's Shuko. Combo piece grows the constructs in multiple ways.
Combat. So it's a gain 6 up to 22.
5/4 construct coming in. Virgil's Netherglyphs, as I said, are a little sad right now. I think they're 0-1s at the moment.
Give him the 2 rank.
Netherglyph only counts your own graveyard.
Knock me, but it's not triggered.
All right, a fatal push on the construct.
One card left.
Equip the other one.
I'll wasteland your blue source.
Blue source is gone. First top deck for draw for turn.
Another prismatic ending on a Netherglyph?
I'm gonna fetch down to 18.
I would have guessed Yosef will go after the cage, but maybe the combo has been... I don't know. Is it possible the combo's just sided out, or that's just not the plan anymore? What do you think about that, chat?
I get the threat line.
Is it possible Yosef will regret this opportunity to remove the cage?
Keep that on top. Draw for turn.
Not taking the opportunity, I should say.
There's a saga. Pass to you. Draw.
All right, another Tameo. Tameo could end up coming in handy this game. Swing things the other way.
I'm gonna make a construct. Sure.
Ghost Vacuum is putting in work. Don't know if the players are keeping track of the creatures exiled for the possible ultimate of the Ghost Vacuum. Sometimes it happens. I also don't remember if any creatures were hit with it.
I kept the hand that was 2.
I'm just saying.
Game 3.
That was game 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The
I
turn
won.
2 combo.
Cavern of Souls dumped into the graveyard. Okay, that's interesting. With Tameo and another Netherglyph on the other side, it's likely that this construct will probably be attacking.
And then game 3, I realized that the Teferi is just to bounce your things and buy me time.
Yeah, it's a bit better.
Better than brainstorm into Go Masters.
Teferi the Time Raveler.
I just brought in.
You're already running the Void Walker's name, right?
Yeah, but I had spell bombs in the main also, so I just swapped them for like lane.
Yeah.
It's going to resolve.
The deck is that with Nadir stuff, with Saga stuff, you can just win without the graveyard.
I mean,
Could bounce the cage in combo, I guess.
can handle that stuff.
If that's the plan. If that's the plan.
Spells and the wasteland spells like. Felt like I kept her. Well, no. Felt like it was hard to mulligan with a hand, or I could have had like a turn 1.
Teferi is still at 4 loyalty, has not yet been activated.
But at the same time, it's like the upside of getting to exile something.
Wait, do you have Thoughtseize turn 1?
Yeah, I did. I thought she's
Oh yeah, you Void Walker then Thoughtseize with 3 mana, right?
Yeah. So I was thinking the upside. I mean, I did consider the Void Walker getting forced.
Prismatic ending gets a scoop. Moving on to game 3.
No, I had 2 days, and at first I thought you only had 1 on top.
Are there ways to get it back from the graveyard?
I mean, there's like the ETBs that.
All right, players getting ready for game 3.
I was also
Looks like Yosef has kept. Virgil has taken a mulligan.
trying to
Yeah, something like that.
I'm not so great.
It's a very similar mechanic with the pitching a card to the memory for free and the ghosted clicker.
The one card that's in a different sleeve than actually.
All right, mulligans are finished. Bloodstained Mire pass. Virgil on the play.
No 16 cards.
By the way, have we felt or seen tempo in this match yet? Like, I don't know.
This one it takes.
Ponder resolving.
Go.
I don't feel like we've seen tempo. Undercity Sewer, Surveil. That feels like tempo a little bit.
I'm still in the process of
They have a
building
weak
my deck, but
not
I want
here,
it to be
but,
like not like the
Hex and
dirty
Co.
man. I mean, I don't want the
Indian
optimal
Square
else build.
on
I want
Thursdays,
to
I have
build like an
free
aggro with like timber watch and so forth.
I just
Polluted Delta dumped into the trash. AJ Potato warns us tempo hits you when you least expect it. Okay. Write this down.
I'm a bit strict because I want my pre-modern deck to be like.
Somebody should write an article or something.
if I have a whole deck of proxies except for guys creating, I think I'm okay with
Fair
that.
enough.
I don't want a whole proxy deck, but if I could just proxy 4 of the same card,
Yeah, that's fine.
it's way more like I have a few decks that are.
Azak has figured this out. The theory says that tempo equals pressure times interaction. That's interesting. That's really interesting. AP, thank you for the resub, 45 months, and says tempo belongs in the trash. We need more turn 0 combo. There you go.
I try to keep my
People do
proxies
some wild shit.
Oh yeah, I've gotten got by the silver deck running all my proxies are the same
one
exact same
outside
card.
I don't know where you've been, AP, but the format has completely fallen apart, you know?
I mean, for me, like, part of
I feel like the
pre-modern is,
1
like,
out
looking
cycle is
for
actually
the-
less crazy than the silver.
Like, it took me so long to get like 4 exalted angels that are like, you know.
Every time I go to the locals, I get dumpstered by combo. It's just unwinnable. Here's Trop.
Mixture of like the traditional rover and the whatever that
The
new
price spiked a bunch
enchantment
after
thing is, like, or not enchantment, artifact. I can't
a
remember.
bunch of
Back out of
Yeah, like
$100.
hidden gibbons was like $10.
AP says, remember when people were complaining about Murktide, how quaint. You know, AP, it was only a month ago or something that people said it was all over because they changed the Saga rules.
Yeah.
Does this
Although,
see pre-modern play?
Here's Carpet of Flowers.
but I mean, a mix of.
I think I even saw tweets that, like, Rakshasa's Bargain might need to be banned. These people are crazy.
Didn't expect to get that far.
I think it goes 7 times.
I'll make mana and then pass.
Stock up is broken.
Pre-modern is getting popular, but also means all the cards are getting.
People are out of their minds. Azak says people love to make enemies in the LGS. That's true. That's true.
If I was to build my deck optimally, I would.
How do you think I got banned from multiple formats?
Like, I don't want to invest in like humility. Just, like,
What's humility?
it's like all creatures are like 1/1 with no abilities.
Carpet of Flowers. Some of you might have seen this card in Final Fantasy Draft. It's a fun sideboard card in green decks and Legacy. Punishes people for playing too many islands.
Nowadays you got dress.
They don't make hate cards like they used to.
Or my personal favorite answer is Sheltered by Ghosts. Just exile every day.
But then you need a creature in play for
Yeah,
that.
'cause I play Maverick as my main deck.
Gotcha.
So just
I have meddling mage.
Yeah, they changed the rules for sagas, and people were predicting it's over for Legacy. Legacy is finished. Urza Saga will need to be banned emergency. Here's a Thoughtseize.
I've seen
Flusterstorm on that. It's pretty much countered.
put it in and then
It's a bit too, I mean, I guess like,
it kills the omniscience.
yeah, but I mean,
If they're
Yeah, Flusterstorm.
it doesn't do anything.
I mean, if that's your plan, I feel like
That card doesn't get any love anymore.
you're like Ashen Rider. That way you can eat the ever.
Here's a Ponder using the Carpet of Flowers mana. Virgil, of course, has 2 islands. So the color we made was blue.
A real card in other matchups.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Especially if you're like a Green Suns deck, being able to just run Rexing.
Yeah, Legacy is dead. AP says your old school ban is lifted, but only in certain regions. Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Like the Anaya Maverick next run with the Knight of Caution now. You just blow up
Using the second.
Now Shuko again. It's a combo card.
Or gain life, like it's versatile. Probably mostly for omniscience though.
Most like
Cavernon Wizard and Nadu. So we're going to see some Nadu triggers here. Flooded Strand gets cracked. Darth calling that the game is over.
I think that was my first time.
I don't know that I agree. Meticulous Archive, Surveil.
It would have got me an extra construct.
Yeah.
It drew me a card.
But the advantage bar is sliding over to Yosef's side for sure.
Construct, but like
This Nadu needs to be killed for sure.
per turn. So I said if I could
ASAP.
Card, I just wouldn't here. That was the main reason.
That's fair.
And probably the cavern wasted as well. Dumps an illusionist into the yard. That's scary. Brazen Borrower to hand. AP says, remember people were saying Kamiga was so underpowered. You know, I've been in the Magic community for a long time. There are some people that have been upset for 20 years. It's true.
Always the cavern.
Okay. This is what I was pointing out. Wasteland on Cavern. Fatal push on Nadu. Dread Return was on top of the deck. Nadu eliminated. That was important. Kind of stop the Nadu from doing any more damage. Here's a Ponder for Virgil trying to refill a little bit. It's Kama. Thank you for the sub with Prime. 8 months. Appreciate it. Bird up.
Things are not ideal.
Virgil says not ideal. Ponder shuffle. Yosef has a bunch of cards in hand. Yeah, Dread Return in hand is an interesting puzzle. We'll talk our way through that if we get there. You kind of want it in the graveyard usually. Urza Saga.
Bobby, can I borrow your dice? Oh, right. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. So using 2 buck, 1, 2, 3. Dread Return targeting Nadu.
All right, there's a Dread Return reanimating Nadu. Nadu will activate. Ghost Vacuum. Urza Saga comes in. Got the Dread Return into the graveyard. The Carpet of Flowers was able to make black, in case anybody missed that. That Ghost Vacuum is back. And now Virgil's got to kill Nadu again, it seems. Tight plays in this game. Shouldered Edict. That's one way to do it.
Sacrifice it, not to the creatures.
I was just reading Brazen Borrower to see if I could get myself my own stuff. Doesn't work that way.
Now a Ponder for Virgil. Trying to refill again. So now Dread Return is in the graveyard. Nadu is also in the graveyard. The flashback on Dread Return is sacrifice 3 creatures. If we are going to combo in this game, we're going to need Dread Return. Most likely, unless Thassa's Oracle is in hand. But now these 2 Urza Sagas are ticking up to 2. We might not need the combo. Let's see how this shakes out. I think we've seen a misdirection on stream recently, haven't we? Did that happen? Did I imagine that? Someone find that misdirection moment. Ponder shuffle for Virgil. Looking for stuff. By the way, the Ghost Vacuum exiled Nadu. Clever plays here. Oh, maybe it was SF playing Misdirection in Rug Beans. Maybe that's what it was. Joseph is going to make those 2 constructs. Virgil's at 18. These constructs are going to run that down in a hurry. Virgil just might be about to get trampled by constructs. Urza Sagas are about to tick up to 3.
Use the 2 blue and tap 2. I'm going to make another 2 constructs.
2 more constructs. This might be too much. Now I'm going to search twice. There's a Shuko. Maybe Pip-Boy 3000 will be the other one. All right, failed to find for the second. So another Shuko. It'll add another power to the board. Another artifact to the board, boosting the power of these constructs, and then equipping to add another power.
7s? Okay.
Swinging for 16, as AP points out. A fetch happening here. Losing a life, not ideal in this situation.
You already used this mana.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, Carpet's already been used this turn. It was used to make some constructs. That does work. What does Virgil have here? It's going to need a lot. All right, Fatal Push. That saves 8 damage, I guess. Petty Theft saves another 8 damage. Okay. Okay, not bad. A Barrowglyph, and we could be in pretty good shape. Another Urza Saga. Ouch. There is still that Ghost Vacuum with a... oh, all right, here's No Man's and Core. There is still that Ghost Vacuum with Nadu under it. It's another problem to solve. The Breakfast deck just keeps giving you problems to solve, basically. There's a lot for Virgil to fight off here.
I'll exile Fatal
Swinging with the 2 constructs and No Man's and Core.
So there's 6 6s. Or 6.
The 6 power, I guess, on these constructs.
I did not use this, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carpet has not been used yet this turn. The Carpet could ultimate the Ghost Vacuum, get Nadu potentially this turn. Virgil's going to take the damage this time. Brazen Borrower is on an adventure. It's not really that great at blocking here. Casting a Nadu now. This feels over. Virgil agrees. There's a fist bump concession. GG's. Well played. Diving in.
It just like not only is it stone cold Limerick, but it also like actively stops you from winning.
At least with Narcomoeba, I can cast it, use it as a pitch spell.
Yeah, it's got some like it is actively bad. It's not even just like a bad card. Like it is now. I cannot win this comp game with combo.
All right, Reanimator on the left. That would be Dom, and on the right we have Breakfast Dominic. That would be Breakfast would be Joseph. Moving over to the right side of the screen.
Go turn 2 Cephalid.
Sit on the same side, people. Come on.
On like the turn I'm about to win.
Brutal.
Oh my god, I want to cry.
All right, Joseph wants to cry. Getting ready to go.
Storm Chases 10.
End of your turn, I'm gonna bolt the other.
This one's a little bit more playable.
Play a Bloodstained Mire.
Alright, start us off.
Mulligan to 6 for Yosef. Dom kept 7. Polluted Delta pass. York Army is obviously not on the battlefield. Meticulous Archive, Surveil. Yeah, the Pernicious Deed playmat goes hard. It's comma in the chat says, is that the Dom who top-aided Eternal Weekend? That is Dominic. Top-aided the Legacy North America Eternal Weekend Legacy Championship 2024.
I'm gonna force back pitching Ponder.
Force pitching Brainstorm on an Entomb. Force pitching Ponder to protect. Seems like Entomb is resolving.
Currently a 2-3.
Yeah,
Traxa will head to the graveyard. It is still probably the best Reanimator creature.
Like at a certain point, when you ban things 3 straight, it still like doesn't really stop them. Attempt to reanimate Atraxa.
All right, Atraxa will come in from a reanimate.
I don't know. Like you can only ban so many cards around it before you need to eventually face the fact that like maybe that's
Something is wrong.
right. Like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wasteland.
A lot of lands hit here, so this might be a pretty light pull from Atraxa. Only 4 cards, one of them a land. Grabbing Wasteland makes a lot of sense. Wastelands are pretty good against Breakfast. Tameo and Thoughtseize. All cards good against Breakfast.
I mean, we just started. I feel like I'm being vintaged.
I will play this Wasteland. I'll waste you. 6. And I'll say go.
Oh yeah, I knew what I was doing.
All right, basic planes, pass. Seems like Dominic has game 1 pretty comfortably. My stuff fell over. Pretty comfortably under his control here. Voice of Victory, Brainstorm, Prismatic Ending, and Cavern of Souls.
Descended is,
I'll take my Voice of Victory.
Sure.
so what the targets will choose are the auto.
Hit you for 7.
Non-creature, non-land permanent.
So the auto is
Traxa gets in.
I'll play Vicious Bauble.
Play that on top. Say go.
You'd look at it. My top deck.
I'm gonna look at the top of yours.
Wizard, let's go.
Attack for
1, 2, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4,
16.
Yeah.
Traxa hits pretty hard with the lifelink. Each attack swings the game to your favor quite a bit. And that is a scoop. Game 1 goes to Dominic.
Okay.
So now Yosef will be on the play. The Breakfast deck, of course, also capable of comboing off pretty quickly.
This town bouncing Storm Chases talent and
1 card on the bottom. Shuko.
22, 23.
Yeah.
Surveil.
Yeah, that works.
Dom will surveil and leave it on top on turn 1.
Okay, after combat, I will. Sure.
The Breakfast decks don't have Wasteland. The mana base, for the Breakfast deck, as we've talked about before on stream, is kind of a weak point for the deck. If you want to beat these Breakfast decks, going after their mana is a good way to do it. They're really vulnerable to Wastelands and Blood Moons and stuff like that. Ghost Vacuum.
Yeah. Sheen. Ponder.
Ghost Vacuum gets a reaction there. It's pretty good at stopping reanimating. And And Shuko is a combo piece. Dom is aware.
Drop. Three.
I will move. I gotta move to discard.
Oh fuck.
Discard reanimate.
Okay, moving to discard. Discarding reanimate. AP says, I feel like I'm getting vintaged. Is interesting to hear. It sounds like that's what one of the players were saying here. Wonder why Reanimator isn't a thing in Vintage. Initiative in Lurrus deck's pretty good. Feel like Reanimator has some play. Guess the Oath plan is probably just better. Yeah, I guess. I don't really know anything about Vintage, but Oath of Druids just sounds like way better.
I'll take it.
So Nadu off a Cavern and a Brainstorm. And that gets a scoop. Moving on to game 3.
But the thing was, it had one land. It was a surveil land, and like that's the exact issue.
I choose a creature that attacked this turn, it attacks again. Or it can attack again. Or untap.
Some quick games already.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So if this attacks and I have Delirium, I choose one card, one creature that's attacking to untap, and then I get another whole thing.
Okay. Alright, it doesn't have haste. And
It doesn't have
you already
haste. I already attacked.
Specchio says, I moved from playing Sneak and Show and Legacy to playing Oath in Vintage. Very interesting.
It has to attack. It can only happen once per turn. And then
Thoughtseize from Dom here. Nadu, Ponder, Brainstorm, Urza Saga, Savannah, Flooded Strand.
I discard.
Yeah, there sounds like there's a fear of missing out happening in the background.
Take Nadu.
put the non-foil in despite you.
All right, Nadu is chosen. There's still a Nadu in the hand, though.
So the way the stack resolves.
Cracking a Flooded Strand here is Yosef. Discard spells are decent against really, most combo decks, right? But the Breakfast deck is no different. Hitting them with a Thoughtseize can be pretty good.
If for some reason you instead force by force, then I have a chance of
Sure.
Strangely, though, I feel like, what do you think, chat? Is Thoughtseize good against Dimir Reanimator? It doesn't feel like it is, really, to me. Like, that's probably just a feeling, but...
That was the best Ponder I've ever
I don't know.
Two.
So,
Yep.
Brainstorm.
All right, here's a Brainstorm for Dom. AP says, interesting to choose the non-Saga land. Playing Saga there sets up a turn 3 Nadu with Shuko, but Yosef gave that up. Yeah, you can Thoughtseize them and take the Reanimation spell or the Entomb or whatever, but... I don't know. I could be totally wrong.
Ponder.
Am I ever wrong, chat? Come on. When am I wrong?
yeah.
Say go.
Ramalito says Thoughtseize is so underrated. Underrated Thoughtseize.
Yeah, and then I'll play
Yeah, Token Gate was a big thing, and I was right. Kino Wolf says the feeling when the basic island costs more than the duel. Okay.
I still going back, but
I might have. I do. That's what
Yeah.
kind of sent.
There's Urza Saga. We were talking about that a moment ago.
Draw. Oh, I couldn't have played it anyway.
No, I got you.
Yeah.
Yosef is in the chat, says mainly to play around Wasteland, why they didn't play the Saga previously. Plus, they didn't have a cavern to make constructs as a plan B. So, here's a Thoughtseize, double Teferi, Illusionist Nadu, Force Savannah.
Oh boy.
Oh boy is right. This is quite a hand. Some really dangerous stuff in this hand.
Oh, those are both Teferis.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, counts for
I keep forgetting to switch out the white one for the thing.
I'll take the Force of Will.
Oh no, he's gonna Entomb Reanimate.
All right, Force of Will is chosen. Yosef predicting an Entomb Reanimate. We'll see.
Oh, sorry. No. Actually,
Say go.
No, I'm gonna.
Saga ticks up to 2.
With all therapy, sacrifice top Tardini. I'll need. Is it Ravenloft Adventure? Is that the one that?
That was the one.
Yeah, I'll need that one.
I will. I'll leave it.
Okay. Yeah. It's your turn.
Plays a Savannah. We know about the possibility of making constructs here. Maybe Yosef thinking about skipping that and playing a Teferi. All right, well, there's Teferi.
Response.
Entomb in response.
And then Tef is good.
Oh fuck, it resolved.
Yeah, resolved.
Teferi resolved. Archon of Cruelty into the graveyard.
Thank you. I was just about to read this.
It'll make you sack a Planeswalker.
Cool. I'll draw it.
Yep.
Let's go another day.
Yeah.
Pass it.
Wait, I guess draw.
Attempt to reanimate Archon.
Resolve.
I go to.
All right, reanimating Archon of Cruelty. Teferi's gonna die here.
Harry gets sacked. You discard.
Why do I discard it,
And I draw a card.
Archon of Cruelty is a really fast clock.
Sorry, did I go too?
Discarding an Urza's Saga is Yosef.
Play a Wasteland.
This Wasteland might be pretty good.
Cards. I know you have a.
You just hit Savannah here?
You have a Teferi.
Is it correct to go after Savannah? Or, well, I guess you got to go after Urza's Saga, right? Maybe I'm being too cute.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I guess you have to blow up Saga here and counter a potential combo creature. Saga gone, so no searching for Shuko on the next turn.
Oh,
Are those 1/2s or 1/1?
1/1s with prowess.
Four cards in hand for Dom. Salty has arrived.
It exiles also. It exiles.
Oh, sure.
All right, Teferi could bounce the Archon, potentially.
So that on the brainstorm. 3. These 2 back. I'm gonna attempt to force that between brainstorm.
All right, protecting the Archon here. Force pitching Brainstorm. Also getting Teferi to not resolve. Pretty good for protecting himself from the combo. Can't cast Force of Will under Teferi, so. But now Dominic used the Force of Will, so we'll see what Yosef has here.
Sure. And then you take 6. Sigo.
I'm gonna grab this.
One more swing from Archon of Cruelty, and Dominic has the win. All right, there's stuff Little Illusionist.
With that on the stack, I'm gonna push the Illusionist. Yep.
Fatal push pretty big. And that is the match. Archon of Cruelty will swing for the kill. Dom gets it. GG's.
I think my collapses and like and then he does trained by wearing like tight shoes, which is true. And I went to the gym.
Take the play. Good luck.
Small. Is your toe kind of like this? Now it is, yeah.
All right, Sam on the left with Oops. Teamer Delver on the right. That would be Adam. Both players consistently doing well at the locals. Island Preordain. Wow.
Likely I do this shit for 2 weeks and
Preordain.
then it's better. I mean, wear more confidence. Come on.
Yeah, I thought Preordain was banned.
On top. Drop. Press turn. Yeah.
Lotus Petal, okay. Another Lotus Petal. Dark Ritual.
Pitch. Murktide Regent to cast Force of Will.
Force pitching Murktide. Undercity Informer is countered. Pass the turn.
Misty. Brainstorm. Put these two back on top.
Yeah, Darth saying Delver needs to get a threat in play. Yeah, I mean, countering their first attempt, get a threat on the board and swinging away. It is kind of the plan here. Not sure who has priority at the moment. I guess Sam thinking on end step? Or is it Sam's main phase? Did I just miss something? Sometimes I look away and I miss something important.
Yep.
I guess we've moved on to Sam's turn. My bad. Simian Spirit Guide, Balustrade Spy, fetch and response.
Sometimes I play a game.
Volcanic Island.
Okay. Brainstorm.
Okay, a brainstorm here for Adam. And it seems like he doesn't have anything to stop the Balustrade Spy, so scooping it up. Game 1 goes to Sam.
Oh, the Juke Log,
Yeah, I think I've ordered too much in. I just have bad hands.
Yeah.
I like mulligan to throw and didn't throw what I needed. I think I could have ordered.
Hammy says, oops, with them double-faced lands is cheating. Back in the day, we had Wild Canter, and we liked it. Yeah, remember Wild Canter?
This one's a keep. Okay. On the play.
All right, one card on the bottom for Sam.
Delver?
Delver on turn 1. We were talking about getting threats on the board. Turn 1 threat this time. Post sideboard, we'll probably have a little bit more disruption. Delver will flip. No plays for Sam.
Drop. Move combat. Yep. Ponder. Was that the card you revealed? Ponder? Yep.
Yeah, Ponder was the card revealed.
I'll put these two back on top. Play land for turn. Grafdigger's Cage. Yep.
Grafdigger's Cage will be pretty good here, I guess. The Oops deck relies on Dread Return, Memory's Journey, Cabal Therapy, some flashback cards to accomplish the mission. Grafdigger's Cage stops all of the flashback, which could matter quite a bit. It also stops Poxwalkers. Balustrade Spy was just discarded to hand size.
Ponder.
Yeah, the Grafdigger's Cage does not stop Goblin Charbelcher, though. We don't know that Sam has Charbelcher, but that is something that you can consider when you're playing against Oops. Sometimes they have Charbelcher. See people in the chat talking about the statement from Wizards about the Oops deck. Oinkster in the chat quoting some things here: deep rules knowledge, complex interactions, knowledge of the game, interactions, whatever. Like, I read that, and then, like, after I interpreted it my way, read what other people interpreted what they were saying, read that people interpreted what they were saying a completely different way. The way I interpreted it is that, like, the Oops deck, the way it's constructed, like, before the deck existed, then someone made it, and then it was iterated on over time. That required a deep knowledge of the game, etc. I thought that's what they were talking about.
Will pass turn.
But I guess people interpret it another way.
Play untapped Fellmire. Yep.
All right, that's a Fellmire. Two modal double-face black lands on the battlefield, Agadim and Fellmire. Insectile Aberration swinging away, though.
Okay, that's on the stack. I will pitch Force of Will to cast Force of Will.
Force pitching Force. Oh, crap. What's the name of this card?
Pact Vote. So the Pact of Negation resolves, but that's still
Wear down, yes. After Pact of Negation, another Force of Will. Another Pact of Negation. Oh, boy.
That's wild. I love it. Resolves, yeah.
So, double Force. Grafdigger's Cage is blown up.
Yeah. I'll reanimate Balustrade Spy.
Balustrade Spy trying to reanimate it. Fairy Macabre. And Adam wins the game. The players are having fun.
It's all good.
Sam had the reanimate for the Balustrade Spy and Fairy Macabre, folks. Game 3, Sam will be on the play. One card on the bottom for Adam. Fell to Profane on the front side. That's a black modal double face land. Thoughtseize. All right, here we go. Interesting. Fairy Macabre, Questing Druid, Murktide, Mishra's Bauble, Delver, and a Scalding Tarn. Well, only one piece of interaction in this hand as of right now. That would be the fairy. Delver plus Mishra's Bauble could get the offense up and running quickly, but if Sam's going to attempt to combo, we're going to need more than just a Fairy Macabre.
I'll take the Fairy Macabre. Yep.
Fairy is chosen. Makes sense.
Drop.
Sam's just going to pass the turn. Adam's not dead yet. Bobble myself. Gonna fetch here. Didn't like the top of the deck, I guess. Adam understands he's gonna need interaction.
Stifle was pretty big too. Yeah, same one.
Yeah, Adam mulligan, so makes some sense to keep a hand that has something. Delver of Secrets on the board. Gets to draw off the bauble. So I think at this point there are two cards in Adam's hand that Sam could be unaware of. If you're rooting for Adam, you're hoping that they're interaction. I think it's clear to all of us at this point. This Oops deck is capable of fighting through quite a bit of hate. Darth is hoping for a Daze and a Force. Boggart Bog. Untapped. Undercity Informer. Exiling a Simian Spirit Guide.
Gonna pass the turn. Oh, because he's the one who needs to be activated? That's right. Okay.
Undercity Informer. Costs 3 mana. Then you need a mana to activate it. It appears Sam does not have that mana at the moment.
Play Bobble. Yes. Bobble myself.
Adam potentially trying to set up some draws of some answers here. Looked at the top of the deck. We'll see if that gets shuffled.
Wasteland. Yes.
Wasteland, not super important right now, it seems.
Do you have a preference? No, I mean, they're both basically the same. They make black mana, right? Yeah. Whichever one you like less. Okay.
I think you're supposed to hit the Fell the Profane here, because Boggart could be potentially a creature they can reanimate, I guess. I don't know.
The creature? Oh, no, this guy. Oh, no, this is a 2/3. 2/3. Got it. Okay.
I don't know. Whatever.
We'll play Delver of Secrets. I'll pass the turn, drawing your upkeep.
Okay, another Delver. A bolt on Undercity Sewer would have been interesting. Here's another Fell Mire.
Cabal Therapy targeting you. And then Fairy Macabre.
Cabal Therapy targeting you. Fair Macabre's name. Force Questing Druid and Murktide. Undercity Informer will be sacrificed. Entire library will go into the graveyard. Narcomoeba triggers are going on the stack. There's a Cabal Therapy in the graveyard.
Targeting you. That triggers the Poxwalkers and also Bridge from Below. Got it. Here's the necessary goal. So Cabal Therapy targeting you, Sons?
Yep.
I'll name Force of Will.
Poxwalkers will enter here. There's a handshake. Oops, gets it this time. GG's. GG's.
He hates it.
All right, we were having an earthquake there.
All right.
You too.
Dracula says Painter could be good against Oops. Catch says Helm, Dreadnought have built-in hate. Reanimator has a good matchup in general. His comment says according to MTG decks, Demir, Reanimator, Breakfast, and Dreadnought decks are good against Oops. Jeff on the left with lands, Alec on the right with lands.
Put you on tilt already. The tricks are working.
What about... we were talking about decks that are good against Oops. What about decks that are great against a Reanimator? What decks do you consider to be great against Reanimator? Demir Reanimator chat. Grove of the Burn Willows, Expiration, Urza's Saga. All right, good start here for Jeff. All right, Expiration on the other side. Wasteland on the Urza's Saga. These players aren't messing around. Mox Diamond, Bayou, discarded. Ghost Vacuum, hit the Urza's Saga. All right. Let's go.
Go ahead. I used to play Soul Guide last time.
Cradle Control, good against Reanimator according to MTG Goldfish, I guess. Swords to Plowshares decks, good against Reanimator. Oh, sorry. That's not Alec on the right. That's Greg. Sorry. I had a mistake in the notes.
If for some reason something cares about.
I didn't draw your.
Actually, the notes were right. I just said it wrong. My bad. This is Greg on the right. Sorry. Cradle Control, good against Reanimator. Bad against Oops, though.
Stage. Okay.
That's a Thespian Stage and an Ancient Tomb. Just played on Jeff's side. And a Grove of the Burn Willows, in case anybody missed that.
Pass or new?
It's too much. I'm going to fault him. And then I'm going to shove that. 3. I will copy.
I don't know if
And then we'll pass back to that.
I think it's a shot.
Copy your Wasteland.
I'll waste the response.
This?
The stage.
You go right
Huh? Yep. Okay.
Okay, Thespian Stage tried to copy Wasteland. It got wasted in response, and then now it's getting crop rotationed away. So if you were going to play an event tomorrow, this is all hypothetical. I'm just wondering what people think. If you're going to play against an event tomorrow, and let's say you can practice as much as you need to feel like you can play any deck perfectly, you're guaranteed to play against a Reanimator at Oops all day. What deck do you play? What deck do you choose to play? And let's just leave those two decks out of it. Choosing a third different deck, what would you play? Hypothetical. Mono Black Helm, Breakfast, Black Saga Storm. Some people throwing out there.
You take one, you get one.
All right, the other land drop was a Horizon Canopy, so we're gonna pay a life and give our opponent a life here, tapping them for mana.
The triple sleeve again.
Sorry, it does take 2 here.
Huh?
I take another 2.
Yeah, so there are 15 in the top. What again?
It's a Crucible World.
Conduit of Worlds. You may play lands from your graveyard. Choose target non-land permanent card in your graveyard. You may play land card.
Okay, Conduit of Worlds just hit the stack here. Greg's giving it a read. This card is pretty cool. People forget it exists. Jeff didn't.
I'll leave the stage.
All right, Thespian Stage gets eaten in response. Wasteland on Greg's Saga. Replay the Wasteland. Pretty neat. Ghost Vacuum complicates things.
Light from the Loam, Saga, Wasteland.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, a Saga and 2 Wastelands are returned by Life from the Loam. So Greg has some important cards on the battlefield right now. Card on the battlefield, Ghost Vacuum, and card in the graveyard, Life from the Loam. The Conduit of Worlds, while really neat, is not so great in this exact situation.
I will give him another 6. Waste your waste.
I'll respond. I'll waste your one card in there.
One card in hand for Jeff.
I'll waste your Grove, and I'll eat your Wasteland.
Okay, Wasteland gets eaten by the Ghost Vacuum.
Yeah, my Mox return. Pass.
Greg's Hellbent. Conduit of Worlds has a Grove of the Burn Willows in the graveyard, as of right now. Horizon Canopy is the other land on Jeff's board. So according to our just for fun polling the chat experiment we just did, Mono Black Helm is the deck to play if you're gonna try and fight against an Oops Reanimator meta. Is that how people are feeling?
Yes.
Yep.
Mana floating here. Sacked Horizon Canopy to draw a card. Horizon Canopy gets played from the graveyard. Both players have expiration. That's going to be interesting.
Oh, maybe debating if I went for the wrong land.
I'll play the second land.
Sure.
Okay, plays Grove with the Burn Willows.
Threshold.
Rumble, Dismember, Expedition Map. So I didn't find anything particularly interesting with the Loam's Dredge, but we'll be able to loam back some good stuff here. And with Expiration, we're going to probably be blowing up some stuff. All right, targeting the Horizon Canopy. It gets sacked in response.
I'm using colors here. Oh no, any green, right? No, it's colors.
Oh, that's colors with. Okay, so I'm at 23 still. Okay.
I'm at 13.
Yeah, the Ghost Vacuum has been pretty good here.
And
The The Ghost Vacuum's gonna eat the Horizon Canopy. I guess that all makes sense. Serious with a serious question. Any Final Fantasy cards make their way into Legacy yet? We've seen some around. Probably the one that people are seeing the most, correct me if I'm wrong, would be the Planisphere, the Astrologian's Planisphere. Are you seeing another Final Fantasy card on tables or screens frequently, chat? So Greg dredged a Thespian Stage into the graveyard. I still, at this point, strangely own 0 Final Fantasy cards.
Stage, Wasteland.
I don't know how that happened. It just happened.
Stage, Wasteland.
Admittedly, I'm a little bit slow to pick up new cards, though.
Land 1 will be Wasteland, and Land 2 will be also Wasteland. I will waste your Saga.
In response,
Wasteland and Urza Saga. Sephiroth seeing some play in Modern. That's true. I did see that.
Combat?
Yeah. It's like
Jeff has a Thespian Stage. Just had their Urza Saga wasted. Ghost Vacuum might eat it here.
this resolves. So I go to 8, just like.
That Ghost Vacuum's really annoying.
You sack the guy, I draw a card in game 3.
I'm trying to figure out what I haven't fetched.
Yeah, and then you get another orc. Yeah.
Yes.
Cruel in the chat wondering, did Greg illegally reorder his graveyard there? We do have some judge folks in the chat, so correct me if I'm wrong. But I don't think the graveyard order really matters unless your deck has cards that care about graveyard order.
But I do think it's favorite.
Is that how that works at this point? Sometimes I really am not even sure if I know what I'm talking about, but I think that's how it works. Quina says graveyard order matters. Okay, Aquinas saying I'm wrong here. The rules prohibit reordering your graveyard in formats that contain cards from before Urza's Saga. Folks really care about it, though. Well, there you have it. Aquinas is a judge in the chat.
I'll swing.
Very high-level judge, too, like a level 12 or something. Expedition map getting cracked here. Rishidan... I was going to say Rishidan Pizza. Riftstone Portal is the card, the land. Bajuka Bog is found here. That's going to be pretty good.
Bog results. Okay.
Rishidan Pizza is not a name of a magic card. Riftstone Portal is, though.
Hmm? Sure. 24. Okay. And start making construct.
Alright, so Greg, Jeff just put a Life from the Loam into the graveyard.
Trigger on the stack.
Yeah,
I will make a construct. Make a construct.
I think the most commonly seen graveyard order carrying card in Legacy is Shallow Grave.
Bowmaster is good.
I don't know if there are any others that see any play. Unless I'm forgetting something. Like, after Shallow Grave, what would be the most played graveyard order card?
Griffin Needle, name, Thespian Stage. You have no land in your grave, right?
Convenient. The last thing needled on stream was a stage, so we got that up quickly. Pithing Needle on Thespian stage.
Well, eat your loam. Land for turn.
Life no Loam gets hit by that Ghost Vacuum.
Land for turn 2, he pass.
He's the one that can switch any artifact for free.
Got it. Untap.
Corpse Dance and Volrath Shapeshifter are two legacy has-beens. That's true. Seems like Jeff has scooped here.
No, untap, I'll keep drop. That's why I was like scared. It was just like, why give it
Icarid. That's right. Icarid might. Oh no, Icarid doesn't care about order though, right? Wait. Whatever. Yeah, Icarid doesn't care about order. I was just trying to think what other cards care. I think the point is not that many cards care about graveyard order. All right, looks like Greg has kept 7. Jeff has taken a mulligan here. Yeah, I actually think the lands mirror is kind of interesting for me as a spectator anyway. I don't know how the players feel that have played it. I haven't played the lands deck much myself, really at all. But this is pretty cool.
Wait.
I shoot the lands at this post-con game.
Yeah.
Jeff will be on the play. Yeah, Nether Shadow is a card that cares about graveyard order.
Yeah, I made him like.
One card on the bottom for Jeff. We're ready to go.
Well, you didn't say.
Multi 6 for Jeff. 7 for Greg. Urza Saga pass. Big play here. Expiration, Nurturing Peatland, Elvish Reclaimer.
It doesn't matter which one you force.
Well, because these ones still, one would die, but that's sorcery, so.
Well, Greg already way ahead in this game, it looks like. Darth pointing out that the lands mirrors come down to who has, you know, this list of cards and who doesn't. Typically pretty lopsided, yeah. That could be.
Sure. 100. So this goes to 2. One's a low. You're at 14. Go. I will play Mistress Bubble. And you.
Jeff will make a construct.
Yeah, I thought you were doing that.
There's the Saga's going to tick up here to chapter 3. Going to make another construct. Opposition Agent. Ouch.
Days of fine. Sydney's very good.
Yeah, that's a monster.
Ninjas, huh?
Oh my goodness. Opposition Agent here is just brutal.
Was that Force of Vigor, Bog, what's this guy? Yeah, mine. Alright, sure.
Relevance in this.
All right, so Greg was taking a look at the hand here. Expiration, Force of Vigor, Boseiju, Bajuka Bog, a Yava Maya, and a Wasteland, it looks like. Now Greg looking through the library, looking for something to steal with the Opposition Agent. The Urza Saga search ability resolving here. Ouch! Okay, Expedition Map is selected. It's a pretty good one. Jeff still has 2 constructs. It's something. They're not very big, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Jeff's main phase now. So, I mean, pretty rough start to game 2 here for Jeff, but this is not over yet. This is not over. There's the exploration. That's not bad. If we're going to recover and win this game, that's a good start, I guess. Wasteland on Wasteland. Not the worst. The land played was Yavamaya.
It's been a rough day.
Someone in the background had a rough day. I wonder what happened.
Yeah.
Sorry if those sirens are coming through on the stream. It's really loud outside.
16.
Okay.
What's a bad day for a Magic player anyway? One of my favorite funny things. Magic is all comedy to me, okay? One of my favorite funny things is like someone's playing like some S tier deck like Demir Reanimator and they're like, I got paired against lands three rounds in a row. It's been such a rough day. Oh, it's so funny. Meanwhile, I'm over here with like goblins and Maverick and dinosaur decks or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, you know, I went 3-0 against some. Oh, it's so funny.
Don't do me too dirty.
They're just like super tilted that they lost.
I forgot I had that.
Am I the only person that finds this stuff funny? Come on.
Hit your Ancient Tomb.
It's all funny to me. Ghost Quarter on Ancient Tomb? Not searching? Because of the opposition agent? Life in the Loam now? Ghost Quarter Wasteland.
Land.
Wasteland on Yavamaya now. Jeff with no land. Still has those 2 constructs though. Those could potentially be the difference in this match. Potentially. Jeffrey says I also find other people's misery enjoyable. I don't even know if that's even it for me. It's just funny that like. Yeah. Anyway. Dart thinks this game is over. I think I just believe in Jeff as a player. If anyone could figure this one out and win, it's Jeff. That's my optimistic view here. We got the right player to fight through this.
I think I did it the only way.
You're gonna find a body counter or something?
No, that's shit. So if I don't unwrap it, then it just
It actually is a drop.
Yep.
It's kind of S.
Jeff trying to figure it out. What is the plan here? That Elvish Reclaimer sees 1 land in the graveyard currently.
3.
Opposition agent is a major pain in the butt. 3 cards in Greg's hand. Jeff's hand is Force of Vigor, Beseiju, Bajuka Bog, and an unknown card.
14.
Only thing to hit with Force of Vigor as of right now is Exploration.
The problem is I'm still
Your turn. I'm gonna
Mox Diamond. Discard Boseiju, okay. That grows the constructs. Attacking for 6.
go to 10.
Bajuka Bog, get rid of the loam. Not bad. Not bad. Yeah, I just don't know if damage was missed off the peatland. There's an Urza Saga. Could be another hit for Force of Vigor if Jeff draws a green card. Only 1 card in hand right now for Jeff, though. It's Ghost Quarter. Force of Vigor from Greg now blowing up the constructs. And now I'm with Darth here. This game might be over. Way too much of an advantage right now for Greg. That Force of Vigor was slamming the door on this one in my mind. I really don't see any way for Jeff to get out of this. Yeah, that force extinguished all hope. I agree. I did have a little bit of hope. I was hanging in there, but this just seems completely over. TBH, but we'll see, I guess. It would be amazing if Jeff won this game. Rooting for Jeff at this point. Thespian stage pass. Whatever. Versus Saga's going to tick up now on Greg's side. Swing for 4.
8. I will cast your expedition. Oh, you did.
Greg now casts the expedition map that we stole earlier.
My board doesn't cheat. Move combat.
For attackers.
Yeah.
Seconds for attack rate. Go.
Yeah. I'll take copy your. I will
copy.
Thespian stage trying to copy Bayou.
Yes.
Okay, so Greg's stage, so Jeff's stage, excuse me, is a Bayou. Grove of the Burn Willows pass the turn.
Make a construct.
This is on an adventure.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff's going to blow up the construct, blow up Urza Saga. Pass the turn.
Draw.
Take it.
24.
So I go to 13, you go to 14. And I go 5.
It seems like some damage from the peatland is getting missed here. Here's Malevolent Rumble, at least on the digital counter.
I'll take Wasteland. I'll play Wasteland.
Yep.
Pass.
It's possible that Greg is writing down the damage from the peatland, but not updating the digital counter.
Enters or leaves. I get to destroy a non-permanent.
All right, that is the match. Greg gets it. GG's. Pretty one-sided match, I would say. What Darth was saying about the lands mirror seemed pretty true there. The player with the key cards in the mirror took each game, and that was Greg. Both times. But a matchup we haven't seen much on stream. The lands mirror, that is. We'll take it. All right. Stick around for a raid, everybody. That wraps it up for me for today. Stick around for the raid. You'll get some channel points just for sticking around for a few seconds. I'll see everybody soon. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. Peace out.